Hello and welcome back to Internet of Terms. This episode is called The Disservice of Services. I'm Royi Benyossef of Samsung's Global Innovation Center in Tel Aviv, where we're looking to help as many high-tech communities, startups, and people succeed, while we're also interested in investing in software and services startups. If that interests you, please email me at royiby@gmail.com. As always, let's start with what we want to do today. Well, this time I want you all to listen carefully. Because what if I tell you that you're misusing services? That's right, but that's okay, because we're here to help. First, let's review what services are shortly. They're components in Android specifically for long-running operations outside the normal activity UI flow. So they may run as a standalone component, which means that they're called started services, or they could be running on behalf of one or more specific processes, which will make them bound services. It's also good to mention that all services are run under host's or starter's main thread, and that it does not open any new thread or process, so it will eat up your CPU and causes you ANR if you do not actively do so. A started service is started by the start service method, and upon start it can live forever, while the starter app could be moved to the background or even killed. The service will live until it finishes itself. The bound service is launched by the bind service method and can live only while the calling app is alive and in the foreground. And since there's a closer connection, there's also a binder-based IPC between the service and the calling activity. That was easy, right? Now to business. It's time for a session of good idea, bad idea. Good idea. Downloading a file with a service. Bad idea. Using a service to fetch UI data. Why, you ask? What's the difference? Well, a file is much bigger, so the download time would be longer, so it makes sense to download while the user uses other apps. An example for such a file could be a podcast or an app update. Data is usually dynamic, so it is most likely fresh only while the app is in the foreground, so background download is most likely redundant. Some of you will likely to react with, who cares, right? But redundant means wasteful and harmful to the battery life, data cost, and also device handling, as services are resource intensive, which can slow your user's device for other apps. So for fetching, please use in order of recommendation the job scheduler, GCM network manager, sync adapter, and other primitives such as async task. Why this order? Because the first three are batching their calls and the first two are easy to use. Simple. And now for another good idea. To use a started service when it makes sense. Good idea. Use a bound service when you need it. Bad idea. Having it both ways. If you come to need both, then you are likely to need either two different services or maybe one service and one something completely different. Good idea. Deliver independent events with a broadcast receiver. Good idea. Manage a complex, progressive process with states and a life cycle with services. Bad idea. Do it the other way around. Try it. I dare you. Okay, now we're done. Please join us next time for another installment of Internet of Terms. Please look at the description to find all the links for all the posts, articles, and repos that I used. Bye-bye.